how do you see the next generation coming up affecting the real estate market in the working aspect of it, where it comes the investors, the realtors, the mortgage, loan originators, that grind essence of the business? Do you think it's got staying power with the people that are, with the generations that are going to be coming behind us? And how do you think that'll affect the real estate market overall?
So I'm in my 30s. So something that I found that I've really been attracted to. So there is, my father is a self-made millionaire. You'd never know. Every time we have a hurricane down here in Louisiana, we tell him to go get the money out of the walls or the ground where he dug it up or whatever, right? We don't know where it is, but we're like, we know you got it somewhere. We're like, go get it before this, hurricane passes through. The other day I did some manual labor with him and I could not keep up. He's in his 60s. I was like, holy crap, I couldn't keep up. But so I always joke that I don't have a lazy bone in my body because of him, right? And we all know that they don't make people like that as much, anymore, right? Here is the reality, though. I am thankful for what my father has taught me, and we've had many conversations about this, but I don't want to pay the same price that he paid. So then the question becomes, and I think that's pretty prevalent among the millennials and the Gen Zs, they don't.
That's a great way to put it.
Right? Like they don't want to go slave away for 60 years. That's why the, financial independence, retire early community is on fire. Right.
Right.
Like it's because people say like, I want to enjoy life now. I don't want to do it maybe when I'm 60 and can my body handle it then? Right. So there is a part here where yes, hustle and grind. The question becomes, do they have the staying power to grind and hustle for like a season? And I know with me, it's the kind of model I'm going after is I hustle and grind for a season, but then I retire, where I'm still working, but it's not. And honestly, that'll be in my mid 30s, like where I'll be able to pick and choose the deals that I do and, whatnot. So in the industry, how do we see that? We see people. Yes, I think people are addicted to the grind and it's that, hustle culture. But I also see people who are like left and right. People are talking about scaling, right? Like outsourcing things, hiring people, because what do they want? They want to buy back their time so that they can have that the freedom and time, right? The true freedom is not the stuff, right? You're never going to see me drive a Lamborghini. But the reality is so I've lived frugally or, I've put in those long hours because, wanting to not, have to trade my time for active income, which is the most difficult to earn because it requires my labor, but also it's the most heavily taxed, right? So at the end of the day, I see, number one, a lot of people in the industry, they're huge on the scaling part. Right? How can I outsource? How can I build systems? This, that, and the other. Trying to get back some of their time because I think it's a pretty prevalent concept of, time being the most finite resource that we have. How can we, have success, but also be cognizant of that?
Keep our time.
Yeah, and so that's
and I think. Yeah, and I think that hits the nail on the head. And I say that question as a person who, like yourself, plugged in, you're on these Facebook groups, you're on these meetups, you're on these things. And I think the people that are the loudest saying how lazy millennials are or however aren't really seeing all the way down to the root of it. Like you just said, I think, just under 30, but, I think that we saw our family, our parents struggle to a certain degree. And now we're being awarded, because of that hard work, we're awarded certain freedoms. And I think we're just trying to now pass that same thing along. And I just don't think that means necessarily laziness, but it might just be doing things a better way, as time always comes on. There's always ways to improve on the model. And I just think that, these younger generations are finding ways to do it faster, do it more efficient, and do it on a larger scale. Like you said, if you're in these Facebook groups, you're seeing these, I'm seeing these 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids, just constantly asking questions, like you said, to these older people that have been in the business for 25, 30 years. And I'm seeing it directly with kids, with people in our office, on these groups, on these meetups. The next generation coming up is hungry and they want their money and it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out, and how whether we all, whether all the generations come together, we're, with us kind of being in the middle of the two. But, I just think that it's going to be really interesting to see over the next 10 years or so, kind of how that flushes itself out.
Absolutely. And keep in mind that we all see through the lens of our own, what we value, but also how we define things. So like I have in the middle of my vision board, my definition of success, which is success to me, which we all need to find it, right? Because we have different value systems and whatnot. But success to me is when my family sees me more than my team or, my laptop, my work. But so they're seeing me more. So I don't want to spend 12 hours with my laptop or with the team and then 1 hour with family, right? So I want there to be where that is definitely flopped. But my net worth still grows. For me, that is success, where I can spend more. I have that lifestyle part. I can spend more with family, and then I can still, financially have those metrics growing, cash flow, net worth, things like that. But here's the thing is that may not be the lens in which the older generation defines success. Maybe it's, how calloused are your hands, or, how long did you work today, or did you sweat today, at work type of thing. You never know.